Virus was first discovered, there were no drugs, and the ostracization, the stigmatization was very prevalent. And most people, the advocacy work that I did at that point in time was pretty much nursing, was taking care of them, being with them in their final moments. You know.
While it might be the case that abstinence-only education is a fundamental belief incorporated into a subset of American society, it's seen through statistics that this approach isn't working. The nation is seeing a rise in HIV/AIDS rates that shouldn't be occurring, with developments in technology and medication that are happening at the same time.
Education? Well, that's a question you all should ask yourself. How much of sexual education is being taught right here in the school? Is it just a class? Is it just one little section, you know, for like a week and a half, and you have it in 7th grade and then you're done? Because I think sexuality is something that we deal with every day. It's like nutrition, it's like the brain health, it's like whatever. I mean, I'm sure people have spent 50 times more class hours talking about chemistry or calculus or algebra or any numbers of subjects, but emotional health, sexual health, where?
The challenge has been that we, meaning the adults, have only given you one option. We haven't given you scientific-based education so that you can make a true choice. We've said you either don't do it, or if you do it, we're not going to tell you what you need to do to protect yourself.
Despite innovations in antiretroviral treatments that are prolonging the lives on those living with the disease, a social stigma remains detrimental to prevention efforts. Raging in the 80s, HIV/AIDS became well known, but since it's not as prominent today, mindsets towards its seriousness have diminished.
In Chicago, a lot of HIV is surrounding addiction, whether it's heroin or whether it's a multitude of addictions that bring people to not being very conscious of their body or spreading the disease. In Chicago, too, a lot of people who are HIV positive, unfortunately, have been processed through Cook County jail. In other words, you have people who contract HIV at the facilities or in Illinois' prison system, and then they go back to neighborhoods or other places, and then they spread the disease.
The many popular misconceptions and negative connotations associated with HIV/AIDS have resulted in the development of stigmas and mass discrimination. Studies by the World Health Organization have discovered that stigmas and discrimination are the main deterrents for individuals to test themselves for the virus, for those infected with the virus to share their status, and also for those infected to take antiretroviral drugs to help cope with their disease.
When I first started doing this in terms of healthcare reform, I didn't out myself. I would refer to it as having a long-term chronic condition. And one day I said, you know what, people deserve to know. They have to understand. I mean, I don't want people to be afraid of me. I don't want you to only look at me and say, oh, that's Will, he has AIDS. I want you to look at me and say, that's Will, he's older, he's balding, he's got brown hair and brown eyes, he's artistic, he's a singer. Oh, and by the way, he's living with AIDS. That is a minor part of who I am. It is not who I am.
With rates higher than ever, it is crucial that we face the social stigma towards those with HIV/AIDS and the dwindling awareness of the disease that act as major impediments to the success of managing the surge of the disease.
If folks see people who are HIV positive or people living with AIDS doing things that are positive, their negative reaction is diminished. So if they see a group of people doing something, whether it's the AIDS walk, whether it's babysitting, whether it's a car wash, if they see it as a positive community effort, then they walk away with a positive image as opposed to a negative image. One of the benefits for me is that you can't tell from looking at me. And that's part of the reason that I always out myself, because I want people to understand that we're everywhere. We are living among you, and it's not something that we should be ashamed of. And part of it is our challenge because we feel ashamed of it, so we don't say it. And when I started saying it, when I got involved with healthcare reform, and that's getting back to what I was saying before, when I initially started, I would just say, oh, I have this long-term condition. And I finally one day said, you know what, they deserve to know. And I deserve to have the freedom to be able to tell the truth.